Hey everyone, Revenue's Blog here, and I'm going to do something a little different and possibly unexpected in my video today, and that is to rant on the X-Men. Now, before you start asking me, what do you have against the X-Men? I don't have anything against the X-Men because I love the X-Men ever since I was a kid, and I am so happy that they are still continuing with the series, but this rant video is more on how the media is always focusing on Wolverine instead of the other X-Men. To be honest, Wolverine is my favorite X-Men character, and while I am impressed with the huge fan base he has, this issue would have never popped up if only I did not discover that there were other X-Men out there besides Cyclops, Storm, Jean Grey, Beast, and Rogue that the media failed to recognize. Now, before you tell me, what? How could you not know about the other X-Men? They were in the comics for over 40 years. I haven't really read the comics because at this moment I would easily get tired of trying to catch up with all the comic books relating to the series for over 40 years now. The only time I heard about the X-Men was through the media, which is sort of a bad way to know about the series unless one of the TV series or movies actually depicted what was really happening in the comics. And I thank the 90s cartoon series of the X-Men for helping me understand more about the X-Men comics. I don't know. I might take an interest in reading up on the X-Men comics after this rant, but I don't know. There's just so many comics of this series. It might be hard for me to keep up with one storyline. Anyway, this issue came around for me when I saw a motion comic movie of the X-Men called Astonishing X-Men Gifted, which was written by Joss Whedon. You know, the same guy who created Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is a show I really loved. This little comic featured a character who was introduced in the X-Men world for a while now, but never really got much popularity in recent years, and that's Colossus. To be honest, since I never read the X-Men comics, I know, bad, Rabbi Squad, bad. You should have read the comics first before relying on the media for information on the characters. I never really knew that Colossus existed until I picked up one of my old VHS tapes of recorded episodes of the original 90s cartoon of X-Men, and lo and behold, there was Colossus. I didn't really get attached to Colossus until I saw the motion comic movie Astonishing X-Men Gifted, and I just knew that many good X-Men characters were done wrong by the media. Now, Colossus is not the only X-Men character that I care about. There was also Gambit, who is probably one of the most popular X-Men characters in the comic universe, and he barely even got a nod in the media. I know that he was recently in the movie X-Men Origins Wolverine, but that was just one movie, and don't get me started on the last three movies. I was really fond of Gambit when I was small, and I was shocked that years later he rarely gets any attention in the media. Another set of characters that rarely got any attention in the media are Jubilee, Iceman, Cable, Cyclops, Harvick, Quicksilver, and the list just keeps going on and on. I barely know these characters, with the exception of Jubilee, Iceman, and Quicksilver, because the media never focused on them. Alright, here's another thing that's been bugging me about Wolverine getting all the attention in the X-Men media. Cyclops. He's the leader of the X-Men, right? So, how come we don't hear much from him unless he was involved with Wolverine or the other X-Men? I mean, if he is the leader of X-Men, shouldn't he get most of the attention because of that? Well, apparently it doesn't mean a thing to the media, so we rarely get to hear about Cyclops unless he's with Wolverine. Also, I was kind of disappointed that Cyclops' leadership towards the X-Men is sort of underlooked over Wolverine's popularity, and that causes Cyclops to be more of a secondary character than the primary character of the series. And I bet you that it doesn't sit too well with many X-Men fans who love Cyclops. Now, unlike Spider-Man, where the attention is mainly focused on Spider-Man himself since he is the main superhero of the series, X-Men consists of a group of mutants fighting against evil. Therefore, a group of superheroes who each have their own powers to contribute to the team. So there should be enough attention to each of the mutants rather than just focusing all the attention on one mutant, or in this case, Wolverine. It makes me wonder about whether or not Marvel wanted the series to be about Wolverine all along, and not about the other X-Men. I don't mind if there were a couple series of movies that were focused specifically on Wolverine only, but if the other X-Men has to trail along with Wolverine, then at least give the other members some screen time and give them each backstories about their lives to make their characters truly stand out. What made the X-Men series truly memorable to me was the fact that it showed a great deal of diversity among the characters, and we fans were able to really relate to each character. Unfortunately, whenever the media is focusing all their attention on Wolverine, it just feels like there's no diversity between the other X-Men because all we mainly see is the world through Wolverine's eyes, rather than from the other X-Men's views of the world. Before I wrap this rant up, I'd just like to clarify that I don't hate Wolverine. Not at all. Actually, he's my favorite X-Men character, as I mentioned before. It's just that I think that since the series is called X-Men, it shouldn't have to be merely focused on Wolverine, even though he is the most popular character in the X-Men universe. I would like to see more of Colossus, Jubilee, Gambit, Iceman, Angel, and many more X-Men characters take center stage in the media than focus on Wolverine all the time. So basically, this sort of thing always happens with certain TV shows, characters, or books that get so popular over time that the media just wants to melt them out until they get to the point of being pestering towards the fans, and that could cause damage in the characters themselves. In this case, Wolverine is a truly great character, but if the media keeps milking up on his character, then who knows what's going to become of Wolverine's character over the years. Well, that's my rant on X-Men, or more specifically on Wolverine's popularity skyrocketing a bit too much. This is Rabbit Ears Ball, and I'll see you later.